What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. Today we have Renata.
Hi everyone.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you guys.
Renata works with our lending partners, Elite, great company. Talk a little bit about them, Renata.
Elite Lending, they're amazing. They're great. I was actually thinking about it now that I came in. I love the vibe of the office. Very modern, very nice.
Thank you.
It's really important to be working in a really great environment as far as
Sure.
an office, having great mentors and people to help you and structure you. Elite Lending, I think what makes them so different in comparison to what I've heard of other mortgage companies. Luckily, I've only been with them, and so I haven't had experience with other companies. But as far as what I've heard, the people that come in and out from Elite Lending is one. Not only do they say that we're like the country club of mortgages,
It's true.
as far as like
It's true.
the office and the structure, but something that I realize is that it's not for everyone as far as working there. And what I mean by this is like the structure and the discipline that you kind of have. And they
Yes.
don't do it for themselves, they do it for you.
Sure.
And it's kind of like what it goes in hand to what you were telling me now. Like, people come and go. They'll come here, they like the idea of it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do great, I'm gonna make money. I hear that the real estate industry in Miami is like amazing, but if you don't put in the work, if you don't show up, then
It's not all glamorous. It's not all
Exactly.
glamorous.
Like-
And just to elaborate a little bit on that, they're different in the sense of that they like to specialize in lenders that are like full-time lenders. Right?
exactly.
Explain a little bit about that because some people, even like realtors, lenders, they do this as a part-time.
Right.
So they have their jobs or their other businesses, and then this is kind of like their side income, So they're not as accessible, right? I don't think they're as up to date on the market as the ones that are like on the day to day. So you guys go all the day, all weeks, every day, all the time.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
the people that show up and the people that are there and that are consistent and even have been there for years know what it's like to show up and be there every day. It's not about treating it like a 9 to 5 because it's 24/7.
Sure.
And again, that's what makes brokers so different than working with banks. But it's very much, it's feeding into yourself. It's working for your own business. Like, you don't want to work a 9 to 5, work for a big corporation, put in all that time and all that money to being the best employee when you can
Exactly.
be, yourself.
And there's almost like a ceiling you reach in those companies, right?
Exactly, like
Because you
you're
can
always
advance
capped.
to a certain degree, but then you're capped. Exactly. Whereas in Elite or Avenue or in these places where, yeah, sure, you have to put in 24/7 work, but the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
You can keep producing, you can keep, closing, making commission checks. It's like there's no cap.
Exactly.
That's the difference, I think, between the corporate world and a little bit of what we do. Most people in your office get there like what, at 9, 8 in the morning?
Yeah, so for the most part, it's awesome being around like very like-minded people, and which is
Yeah.
why it goes back to, it's like not a 9 to 5, but it's like everyone's there with the same mindset of being super hungry to just better themselves
Yes.
every day. So yeah, everyone gets there pretty like 8:30, 9 in the morning.
Okay.
And we leave the office pretty late as well too.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah, because a 9 to 5 mindset, and correct me if I'm wrong, is because I used to be in the corporate world, right? It's more like while you're there, you're giving your effort, but then you leave and you kind of like disconnect.
Exactly.
I'm done working,
Yeah.
Whereas what we do is almost like a lifestyle, really.
It is.
You don't stop. You never disconnect. You may go home with your laptop and have to reopen an email, make a phone call, talk to somebody again about a deal that's going on or something. So it's not, the 9 to 5 lifestyle is more like just that window, that block. We're on the clock all the time.
All the time. But again, what brings back to Elite Lending, making it so different from the rest, is just how the CEO, he's also there every day, just honestly being accessible. Being
Yes.
accessible to even new loan officers and even the experienced ones. Like, the accessibility and the questions and like what you learn from, like, it's what people look for.
Yes.
Especially working in a company, where you want to learn, where you want to grow. You have to put in the work, but they'll be there. They'll be available. They'll be there to answer your call at
Any
9 o'clock at
questions,
night.
anything
Any
like that.
questions that you have. Anyone, from the senior loan officers to the CEO, Robert. Like, just being accessible there, you just have to, show up for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, the office is also like structured in a way where you get there and it feels very productive. Right? You have like all the tables together. It's almost like a sales floor. It's super cool. You have like a little conference area. They have a barber that goes every Thursday or something like that, right?
Unfortunately, I don't get my cuts with him. But
That's why they call it the country club, right? Of
exactly.
lending offices.
Yeah, being accessible, having no excuse. So it's like, oh, you need a cut? We have our guy.
Are you guys able to be there till, let's say, 9 o'clock at night? 10
Yeah.
o'clock? The building doesn't like label, stop you or restrict you guys from being there too late?
It doesn't.
Okay.
I've been there latest like till 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whenever it's like a crazy day. How long have you been with Elite?
So I'm actually make a year with Elite now in like 4 days.
Okay. And prior you were also
Prior I
doing
was
lending and
actually
stuff?
working in corporate now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you like make that switch?
So I was always into real estate. I got introduced to real estate because of my grandpa. He was fixing and flipping houses in Texas. And I kind of started back to when I was 15. And so I was like, okay, like I always keep, real estate in the back of my head. I went into school. I actually started working at 16 full time.
Okay.
When COVID hit, I was in high school. So I decided to stop going to school in person, do that fully online. So then I started working like full time. So I started when I was 16, all the way until I would say when I was 19 is where I was like, okay, you know what, like I'm done. I had my fair share of working in corporate.
Yeah.
My first job, I was in retail, again in sales. But then that's kind of like when it clicked to me, like, oh my gosh, like the sky really is the limit. I remember I was making like $9 an hour, barely making any commission. But I was like, okay, today this is my goal. I'm selling this to these people that walk in and, doing my numbers.
That was like the spark. That was like the spark, the
Exactly.
start of everything.
So then that's when I realized like, oh, I want to be in sales 100%. And what I learned a lot from it too, it's like you kind of have to go through these experiences and you pick up on habits.
Yes.
When you work in corporate, like your work ethic, like what kind of employee were you when you were working there? Oh, I don't get paid enough for this, or I want to be the best.
Exactly.
So
even if you're starting small, you're doing everything good. Like what you do, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Exactly.
So you're just starting, but you're getting there on time. You're pushing to close as many, sell as much as you're gonna sell. That transfers over to this for
Exactly.
sure. Because here there's no accountability. Like if you think about it, you are your own accountability. You don't have a boss like hitting you up and telling you like, hey, you're here 30 minutes late. You know what I mean? Like in this world that we do, where we're independent contractors or we're doing kind of our own thing, you're on your own. So if you can't do it in the corporate world, when you're on your own, it's gonna be a problem.
So a lot of those habits I picked up on, and then I realized like, okay, like it was all for a reason. It wasn't for no reason. I'm as structured and as disciplined as I am, but because I had that growing up.
Got you. You've always been like that. You've always been.
I think I've always been like that. Yes.
Very
I've
structured.
always been very.
It's innate. It's
disciplined. Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like some people it's innate in them. Other people are not as disciplined. Like I've never been. This forced me to be disciplined. Like going on my own and because even the corporate world wasn't forcing me, because there's almost like a little cutout of what you have to do. Like a step by step. Mm-hmm. When I kind of did my own thing in real estate is when I was like, okay, if I'm not organized, I'm gonna lose deals. Customers are gonna fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you're not organized.
Following up with people.
Following up is huge. You guys do a lot of follow-ups too.
We do. We're actually very big when it comes to following up, and I'm learning it as I go throughout the business how much, like how important it is, like that follow-up business.
Super.
It goes a long way.
Right now, you told me you were going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
What are you studying?
So I'm in finance right now.
Okay.
I graduate now at FIU in April.
Damn, FIU.
Yeah. I started in accounting, but I think accounting took too much of my time with me wanting to do this full time, so I kind of switched into finance, and then it does require you to go in person for a couple classes. So my day-to-day is waking up in the mornings. If I have class at night, I go to the gym in the morning, so I go super early in the morning, and then from there I'd go to the office, get things done, and then from there I have class from 7:50 to 10:50 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
Till 10:50.
Yeah.
When are you supposed to graduate again?
In April, this April.
Okay, so it's right there, and then you're gonna keep going, or you're kind of gonna.
No.
This is for your bachelor's.
Yeah, it's for my bachelor's.
Okay, then you're gonna say that's it.
Yeah, then I'm done. Like actually, she just asked me what I'm gonna do with my bachelor's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing. I'm gonna pursue this.
It's crazy because, and I'm not. I have to be careful with what I say here because parents hate me when I say this. Like I've had conversations with parents and their kids are around. Mm-hmm. I'm not disencouraging people from going to school. Right? School's important, but I just feel like there was a misconception when I was growing up with what school can get you to what it really is in real life, right? And unless you're going to something vocational or something that requires a degree, for example, you're going to be an architect, you need a degree for that. You're going to be a doctor, you need a degree for that. But I just feel like there's so many people that are getting degrees just to say they got a degree. And then, like you said, they'll graduate, they'll have the degree, which is nice, but then they won't use it.
Right.
You know, so when I go back now, because I went to FIU as well, I got my bachelor's, and it helped when I was in the corporate world. But if I were in hindsight, right, 2020, and I look back, I would have gone a different route. I would have gotten my real estate license right away. I didn't really get too much debt. I don't know if you're.
No.
That's good. That's good because some people get their
thing, the student loans.
the student loans.
Those eat you alive.
That's crazy. And then that's what I'm saying. You graduate with a degree. You're not practicing what you studied
Yeah.
because there's no money in it, and then you have $100,000 in student loan debt.
loans. Yeah.
So.
And I've seen it with clients, and it's unfortunate. The good thing, like going into mortgages, the good thing is that there are programs to get around it, and I've seen tons and tons of people, even with $200,000 in student K debt, still be able to afford a home. Like there's ways around it. It's scary, but again, going into school, I mean, yeah, I think it goes back to what your intention is behind going to school and how you want to use and how you want to make the most of it. Like just now being into all of this and seeing how important it is to meet people and just make connections, and I didn't realize how much I could have actually really taken advantage into all the programs and all the events that FIU does.
You do a lot of events.
And it's great because they connect you with very well-rounded people, and it builds your network. So I'm just now realizing this, and it sucks because I'm towards the end, but I'm trying to take advantage to the most I can. They have like real estate groups where they connect you with really big people. I actually recently went to one of their events, and it was crazy because in Miami it's a lot smaller than you think. I started making connections. I was like, oh wait, I know you from this place. I was like, oh, I know you too. So it's like the more people you meet, it comes in hand in hand.
For sure, who you know is so important in this business and in anything as you become a professional.
Exactly.
Would you say that like being with Elite when you started with them about a year ago, did it change your perspective on school, or did you already have the idea of like just getting your bachelor's and leaving and not going back?
Believe it or not, my grandpa always in the beginning always like went back to actually telling and he was an orthodontist. He went to school and everything, but he would like always ask my parents and ask me like, what's your real intention behind going to school? Like, do you really need school? Like, what do you want to do with that degree?
That's a great question. Great question to ask.
So it's like, okay, yeah, I want to learn, obviously it's like a social acceptance type of thing. Like, oh, I went to school, I have my bachelor's. Okay, but that's it. So it's like, what's your intention behind it? And it really comes down to the person if they want to apply their knowledge and like what they're going to learn from it or how they're going to take from it. Like, right now I'm learning, I had my first few classes in accounting, and taxes goes a long way, especially in the industry that I'm in.
In your industry, 100%.
So it goes hand in hand. So it was like, okay, well, I'm going to have an advantage than other loan officers because now I have the experience, but I'm also learning the basics in what they would teach you in school that I know some people learn right off the bat, going through it, but I have more knowledge in this.
You have the theory also in the back, the vocabulary, like you kind of have a little bit of a background.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're learning from experience, you may miss a few things. Now you're covering everything.
Exactly. So that's why I'm also thinking like it goes in hand to what I'm doing now because I'm using both and I'm learning from both. I'm learning from experience, which I also realize I go back to the crowd of my age of people who are just solely living off like academics, like that's their, and that's fine. Like that's what they strive off for. But I'm in a group of like a bunch of people in school for my age, and I'm like, I don't fit in here.
Yeah, I'm different. You're in a different situation, a different scenario. Like you're working, going to school. You're in it. You're in it already.
Yeah, like I'm already in real life.
Yeah, exactamente. But they're kind of still in a bubble because it really is like a bubble. You're not in real life, and then and that's why I think at that age, right, when you make the transition, sometimes it hits them a little hard because they're so used to like. I don't want to sound mean, but it's a little bit of a pampering in a way. And then you hit real life with responsibilities and everything that goes on with real life, and it's like this is tough. So moral of the story here is don't go to school just to go to school.
Right.
Come up with an intention, come up with a plan. Like if you have to go to school for a goal, if that's the end game, then yes, do it. but it's not go to school and then figure out what to do.
Yeah, and a lot
You
of
know?
people do go in with that intention, like, oh, I'm getting my degree. Okay, so something right off the bat, it's gonna come. No,
It doesn't work that way.
it's being intentional.
So, and just to wrap this up, where do you see yourself in the coming years? What big plans? What do you have? What are your goals? Something that you have like like the immediate goals, long-term goals?
For me, honestly, my goal going into this business was more coming in for myself. I wanted to see how much I can actually challenge myself to just strive to do the best and be the best. But it goes also hand in hand with, again, being intentional. I want to help people.
Okay.
I genuinely do. I want to learn from it. I love what I do. I think people want to work with people that they like.
Yes.
I want to meet people. I have plans in mind of what I want to get done and how much I want to do, but I think it's all about just learning from it and being intentional with just meeting people and
meeting
seeing
people
how
and
far
all.
I can go.
Bringing some value into people's lives.
Exactly.
And then also, to piggyback off of that, Renata's very young. She's in her early 20s. People your age, right? What would you kind of, now that you're in both worlds, the real world, the school world, do you have any advice, anything that you would kind of say from what you've learned between both?
Yeah. Taking the risks. I think right now I have no responsibilities in the sense of like no kids.
Right.
Luckily enough, I do live with my parents and they're so supportive, taking advantage of that, having something to fall back on, but also taking advantage of it and making the risks.
Doing something, yeah.
And doing
Yeah.
something with your time, It's just being organized and being able to be like, you know what, like, you don't know if you don't try.
100%. And don't hesitate. That's where it comes down to. Sometimes we have no idea what path to take, like how to start something. Just start it. And along the way, you'll hit
You'll
the
figure it out.
speed bumps and you figure it out. And it all falls into place.
The hardest part is always just starting.
It's starting. So thank you so much for coming on.
Of
We'll have you,
course.
after you graduate, to congratulate you here on the podcast.
Thank you, Armando.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful week. See you on the next one.